Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Cerasus Gaming gun guide. Today we'll be looking at cosplay guns, and it's the first in the series, so welcome and thank you for being here with me tonight. Now, to kind of give you an overview of what we'll actually be doing, Cosplay Guns is a series of YouTube videos I'll be doing explaining and producing popular guns from other media and other video games and porting them into Modern Warfare via the Gunsmith tool. So we'll be going ahead, we'll be working on that today, and the first one, as you can probably tell from the title, is the Resident Evil 3 Assault Rifle. That's what we're calling the M4A1. To give you a little bit of backstory here, the Assault Rifle is an item in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. It is the main weapon of choice of Carlos Oliveira and Mikhail Victor during the Raccoon City Destruction Incident. It is identified as an M4A1 Assault Rifle. Now, in the game itself, as it's identified as an M4A1 Assault Rifle, the gun is set in manual mode. It uses 5.56 NATO rounds. And its other identifier is the M4A1 Assault Rifle. The gun is set in auto mode. It uses 5.56 NATO rounds. Now, what that means here is that manual mode is actually a 3-round burst, and the auto mode is fully automatic. Now, we won't be worrying about manual mode as of right now. We'll be going ahead and we'll be producing this to the best of our ability, given the information and the imagery we've got. So, to kind of recreate this here, it's actually fairly simple. I actually quite like this build, even outside of it being a cosplay gun, so we'll kind of jump straight into it. So firstly, we're going to go here, we're going to go to the M4A1 and select that as our rifle. Now, the first thing I'm going to want to do is have the Corvus Marksman unlocked. That'll give us the cylindrical barrel that the M4A1 uses in Resident Evil 3. As you can see by the icon I'm showing on the screen right now, that's exactly what it uses. It uses the Corvus Marksman. So we're going to go ahead, we'll chuck that on there. Now, one thing I do want to note is that in Resident Evil 3, it uses a percentage system for its ammunition, so it doesn't actually use like a 30-round magazine like it does in the Outbreak series or in later games and things like that. So, given that percentage system, the gun actually legitimately holds 300 rounds of bullets. So we can't do that. So to give it the best look, which is as close to it, I'll generally go for the 50-round mags or the 60-round mags. But in this case, we might actually leave that off. No, we won't. We'll put the 50-round mags on to give it that black magazine look. That gives you the excess ammunition there, and you won't need to worry about sleight of hand. So that's that one. Next up is the foregrip. Now, I would normally go with the Mercenary's foregrip. You can go with the Ranger. Operator is too small. So, Ranger or Mercenary. I will go with Mercenary. That's what I prefer to use. Next up is the optic. And the optic here, it's a bit weird because it's like a more traditional ACOG scope, so you've got to be very careful with what you use. If we wanted to go for a more modern style look, we could go for the canted hybrid, but I will chuck the Cronin Pro optic on there to get that closest look. Last but not least, we'll be chucking the Forged Tac CQC stock on there to give it that final look, that final black stock look for starters, but to also go ahead, increase that ADS time, but also, as you can see in the imagery, that's probably the closest thing that we've got there. So if we was to look at the M16, the Singan Invaders, you could kind of argue, but with how the back of the stock looks, I think that that's probably the most appropriate to use right now. So that's that whole gun done. So the M4A1 here, and I'll show you some video clips of how it performs in a moment against some bots. But this is actually a very solid build. So yeah, let's go jump into a game and we'll come back and show you kind of how it performs. Alright, so we're here on a round of Hackney Yard on free-for-all against mixed bots. So I've gone ahead here, we've got the gun here, I've renamed it to the RE3AR just so I can quickly grab it. So we'll go ahead, we'll chuck this on here, and we're ready to go. Now I have put my nice anime girl charm on the side because I did buy that from the store. Now, first thing you'll notice here is it's got a really good range profile on it, so that scope certainly helps get those long range encounters. ADS speed isn't too horrible thanks to the stock that we've got on. And I'm just about to get meleeed to death. And you can still just continue to hold down the trigger with those 50-round mags. Now, even at this range here against those, we're good to go. It's got very, very minimal recoil. As you can see here, the recoil pattern is very predictable. You can see that it's, you know, it doesn't rise all too much, it doesn't low too much, it doesn't go left or right too much. To me, it's almost a perfect long-range AR build. Now, we'll get out of the way of those gunshots there. We will head around here. Oh, and then we'll get magged in the back from a bot. So, that's kind of how well this gun works. It's got a very quick reload because it's got... The M4 itself never had a longer reload, which is quite nice. But especially with the 50-round mag, you'd expect it to have some form of increase. It does not. It reloads in literally just a couple of seconds here. And that's without sleight of hand. You could obviously chuck sleight of hand on there for a little bit quicker, but then you would need to get rid of something to, you know, kind of give it that... To take away from something of the gun itself. So I don't think using sleight of hand is all that important nor warranted on this sort of cosplay gun. So you can even see here without the what's the word I'm after, the tack laser and such, that even hip firing is really easy to do, and that's partly because we're using the M4, and the M4 unfortunately is a little busted, but in terms of getting kills, it works very well for us. So that's kind of how the M4 is playing with this particular build. Again, I liked it even before I made it into a cosplay build, purely for just how nice it was, that I would use the 60-round mags. If you want to hold down that trigger a little bit longer, or if you don't want to be reloading as much, but I feel that at that point then it would start to impact your movement speed a little bit more, potentially that reload time and things like that. So that's something for you to mess around with and see if that's the way you like your play. Some people like filter mags, some people don't. I personally quite like this. If you were going to use sleight of hand, you would have to remove the magazine and use the straight up 30-round mag. Don't know if I'm a huge fan, but that's probably the only way you could actually go ahead and justify using sleight of hand on this gun. Even without it though, again, 50 rounds is more than enough. As is, you know, if 50 rounds is enough, then 60 is more than certainly enough as well. Again, even at ranges, this gun excels. When I can aim, this gun excels. At any point, even on Hackney Yard here, the range of it is really good. It's got a very, very nice recoil pattern that is very easy to control. It's everything about it is just a very nice build of gun. So I hope you do enjoy using this sort of weapon. At this point here, it still hasn't got me a nuke, but I also suck at nukes in general. So yeah, that's really about it. And you can see here, even as I'm just shooting at people and taking them out, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, it's easy to do. This gun with this build, and I know some M4 builds, especially with the Colt 9mm, can get very recoil heavy. This gun does not. So we'll see if we can get a nice long range kill for the final kill. See if I can't get someone at a really good range. There we go. That was a good range. I didn't take the shot. Let's jump up here. Let's see what we can find. Is there anyone at range that I can take out? Let's throw an nade over there. He'll probably go stand on it, all things considered. And he did. He stood on the grenade at the very last second. But that's the M4A1 build, the assault rifle from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So I do hope you enjoyed watching this. If you found it informative, leave a like, give a sub if you wish to go for that. I do stream on Twitch as well, which I'll leave into the comments down below. If you've got any games or any guns that you want to see me build, please, by all means, let me know. And then from there, I'll go ahead and I'll produce those in the next videos. Next up is the SIGPRO 2009 from Resident Evil 3 as well. We'll go ahead, we'll produce that, we'll make that one, I'll show you some gameplay same as this, and we'll take it from there, and I've got a special something after that that a lot of Resident Evil fans should enjoy. So thank you very much for staying tuned, you have a wonderful day, and thank you very much for coming.